Hey, hello again, whiskey friends. Thank you for joining us for another Whiskey Wednesday tonight. We have been doing this Whiskey Friend tournament for like two and a half months now, and tonight is the finals. We need a winner. There can be only one, Highlander style. So we are going to chop off the head of either the Nashville Barrel Company Houdini or the Lucky 714 Year Proprietor. But we'll get more into those details in just a moment. Say hi to everyone in the chat. But right now, let's kick off the show. Thanks for joining, everybody. Well, without further ado, we've kind of got a lot to go over tonight. We got to pick a winner, and we're going to have a surprise at the end of this because now we just have a head-to-head to do. So I think like 40 minutes in, we might be done with that head-to-head. So we got some fun surprises for the last 20 minutes. But let's bring in everybody else here. We'll start with Kelsey. Kelsey, say hi, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Glad you guys could be here tonight with us. I'm so looking forward to closing this chapter, but also seeing who's going to come out on top. And like Jeff said, we've got some surprises coming at the end of the show, which I know everybody will enjoy for sure. So.
All right. And let's bring on Darrell.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Cheers, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. It's going to be fun. And I'm scared for my Houdini. I'm scared. I didn't pick it last week, man. So we'll see how my palate's faring this week.
And the Houdini's surprised every single time. So even I can't doubt the power of the Houdini at this point. I was a doubter going in, but now I can't be a doubter anymore, especially after last week. Now, Darrell, like, what is this for you? Like hour 12, 13 is streaming this week?
Oh, geez. I didn't go that long with them. I wasn't... I jumped on a couple hours into that stream. I don't know. It was maybe like 3 hours or so. It wasn't that bad.
Oh, we're ending 20... We're ending 2022 in style. Lots of fun. All right.
Oh my
Let's
God.
see who's in chat here. First in, Slapshot. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers,
Go
buddy.
check out Slapshot's Roadhouse, everybody. And we got Celebrity Kelsey Dime, dropping dimes like usual. Tim Gorgeous, welcome. Oh yeah, lots of people coming in here. They might be coming in faster than I can keep up. Nate Cox, cheers.
Cheers, Nate.
Terry in here. All right. Doug H, thanks for coming, buddy.
Cheers, Doug.
Cheers, Doug.
Ben Draman, welcome. JG, oh yeah, good to see you too.
JG always reminds me to tell everybody to hit the like button, by the way. If you haven't done that, subscribe and like.
Good reminder, good plug. Ethan, Stacy, cheers. And Todd's in here. Man, season's greetings.
Buddy?
Yeah, man. He's just, 4 days away from Christmas here?
No, jeez.
It's coming fast.
That it is.
Mark, cheers, buddy.
Yeah, cheers, Mark. Hey, Christopher, David. My partner in crime. That's the only pick I've done so far is with you, Chris. He directed the whole show if you look at the label. All right, Mr. Great Shot. Welcome back. Hey, and Paul P's in here, and Paul P wants to know if he's going to win or not. We'll get to that soon, but we got Paul P,
man.
we got Shayla. I think Nate's the third one too, if I'm remembering right. But we'll pull up.
It's going to be a tight race.
It is. All right. And there's JG on the spot. Smash that like now. Tim, welcome. Hey, I know her. Welcome,
There's
Dana.
your better half.
I know her a little bit. And then Top
Cheers,
Dog.
Top Dog.
Merry Christmas to you too, buddy. Man.
Cheers.
All right. Last one, we're caught up. Yes. David, welcome. Epic battle indeed. Oh, and I'll highlight you while you're here, Eric. All right. Cheers to everybody. Thank you for joining. So, we're going to do a kickoff pour. Kelsey, why don't you tell everybody what we're going to kick off with and pour it, or pour something like it if you have it with us.
So we're going to be tasting the Rockstar from the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club. It is a Starlight 4-year-old bourbon. It's not finished. It's probably one of the few that I have that isn't finished. But it is 115.2 on the proof. So if you guys have these, pour it along with us. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts about what you're tasting and also how you like this pour. So, cheers, everybody.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
So yeah,
I don't know
if
if
you don't
I've
have this
seen
particular Starlight, pour a different Starlight. I'm sure you got a Starlight somewhere in the cabinet, though.
Man.
Do you own any with a higher proof, Jeff?
Which one?
Starlights. I don't know if I've seen one over 115.
115? No, you're right. That's actually pretty high.
No,
All the ones I have.
I think 105 is really the average of everything I have. Now I can say that out loud.
Yeah, 115. I have a Fred Minute pick that's 115 as well.
Yeah, I think the highest one I have behind that one's 108. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the other thing that sticks out from this particular one, the Rockstar, is this
Yeah.
dang color, man. For a 4-year age statement, what the heck is going on to this thing?
Non-finished,
You got
too,
the
right?
Yeah, not finished. This is just a straight bourbon. Have you gotten into this one too much yet, Drew?
No, I poured literally like a half ounce. Like I cracked them all when I first got them, and I drank a lot that night. So my palate probably definitely wasn't on par. So it'll be interesting to go back because I haven't touched it since then.
All right.
Cheers, OH. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Go Birds.
All right. So Nate Cox is there with us. He's liking the Rockstar. Let us know in chat if you had this one or, you know, what other Starlight you're going to kick off with us there.
And I just get lots of like vanilla and fruit. Maybe even a little bit of pear, like specifically ripe pear. But it's delicious, man. It doesn't drink the youth. Like you would think a 4-year-old bourbon would be kind of young tasting, but I don't get that on this at all on the palate.
I get it a little bit. Kelsey and I were kind of talking about this before. It's almost like the 4-year, 5-year MGPs kind of have that same note that I kind of refer to as youth. And I get it on this one, but I will say it's dissipating now that it's been like opening up and it's been open for a little bit and I've gotten past the shoulder. So the sweetness is coming out a lot more here now than I remember.
Adam says, let the Rockstar open up for a while and it turns into something crazy good. I agree, Adam. I'm not that far down on my bottle yet, but every time that I've opened this, it's gotten better. So I'm really anticipating it opening well after it sits.
You know what I'm starting to narrow in on with this one is a jelly donut with the powdered sugar and
the confectionery sugar for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the
I miss Mr. Whiskey Shits, by the way. Cheers, Whiskey Shits. Cheers, Adam. The other Adam.
Yeah. Welcome, buddy. Hey, Dunny too. Cheers.
Like a spicy like blackberry, like a spicy berry note. I pick up though, and I don't know if I contribute this to youth or not, but I had gotten it on the toasted sailbox 4-gate. It's like that. I want to say barrel note, but almost like a raw like if you smell the inside of a freshly milled barrel, you know, almost that sawdusty, but not sawdust, like, because that sounds bad. But I get that on here. I got it on that toasted. I didn't know if it was because of the barrel char or not. But it doesn't really taste young to me. Like, you could tell it's not old. Like, you know, it's not like a 10-year or 12-year. But it drinks nice. And that spicy berry or blackberry, I'm not sure what it is. Right on the front of the nose. Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fruit lends it to be more like not fresh fruit, but like almost cooked down fruit that's been added with sugar. You know, like almost like a puree or a jam almost.
Yeah.
A little doughy note now on this.
Yeeks. I always highlight Ben, and I just should read the comments first. I swear. I fall for it every time because I'm like, I'm going to say hi to Ben.
Oh, jeez, Ben, that's awesome.
God,
Cheers.
every time. I think I've fallen for something like 3 times now.
Got him.
Dang you, Ben. Just encouraging him to do it more.
That's funny. This is good.
I really like this, and you know, I will
Dig
say I was a little nervous about doing something that was not finished by Starlight because they do finishes so well. But man, this is really nice. It's almost got that, like what he was calling out, almost like a fried dough, like a pastry dough too.
Yeah. I think
It's
this
really,
is a
really
perfect
nice.
starter.
Oh, and here
No,
he is
never been.
later. Cheers, Jason. We were just talking about your wonderful pick here of this guy, the rock star.
Rock selection.
Yeah. I love the sticker on that one too.
Jason,
job,
as much as
man.
I love that Houdini, man, I'm scared. I'm scared as much as I love it.
I mean, the competition doesn't get stiffer than this.
No.
It's so tough because that, you know, what I need to do is probably put that up against. Actually, no, it's probably not close. But I want to. It hits me like the Elijah Craig suit, like the old the Fire bottles with like that just intense flavor, man, and that's what does it for me. I think like the Houdini doesn't do that, but it's just wildly different than any non-finished bourbon I have.
Agreed.
So that thing,
Agreed.
I would have thought it was finished. Like I still don't understand. I don't know how it's not finished, tasting like that. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. It's crazy.
It's so concentrated too. The flavors are so concentrated up front on that particular pour.
I wonder if
I
it's
don't
high
know.
malt in that mash bill. Jason, do you know the mash bill? Because it comes across
Maybe.
as like an American single malt, which is a pretty high, obviously, 100% malt. But I wonder if this is like really high malt to give it that perception of American single malt fruitiness that I get on it.
I don't even know that they've done.
Because MGP
I don't
doesn't
even
really
know
do
that
high.
they've done like a high malt content on MGP, but I could be wrong. Jason
don't
would
know.
probably know better than anybody.
Can we trust
I know they've been
anything
getting
anymore?
funky lately, but all their other mash bills, like I had a bunch of them, and just nothing is remotely close to taste them like that. You know, like it's crazy.
Well, it's not like we can take anything for granted. I know I got the bottle somewhere around here, but Kelsey just helped with a pick of Remus. That's a 39% rye. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Can't
it
even
was,
do the 21 or 36% anymore with MGP.
No, and
It's
they're
like,
also doing malted rye as well as that on that pick. So it was
yeah.
51% corn, 39% rye, and then the rest was malted rye. There wasn't even any barley in it. So they're doing some different mash bills coming out, but that's their own label too. So I guess they can kind of play with it a little bit more than if they're doing it in NDP. I'm not sure.
I don't think they have, Adam. They actually pushed an email to me today that was like, buy this pick that just opened up. So I think it's even opened up to the public at this point. So.
These are always the sleeper ones, man. Like everybody gravitates towards those big names when the Mash and Journey are doing these picks, but some of these like lower end ones, the Starlights we did were pretty good. Like they sit, not knowing, because not everybody grabs them, so you don't obviously know how good they are. But this is tasty. Like, it's definitely, I don't want to say like it's a sipper because it's a higher proof, but it's very, very enjoyable. And I love that spicy berry, blackberry or plum. I don't know what it is. It's a dark berry, like bald and spiced. Like, oh man.
I wish Sunday Evening Scotch was in here. I'd ask him. Jason might know too. Jason, do you know of a Starlight above 115? We were just talking about that a few minutes ago. If there was a higher proof than 115 coming out of Starlight, I haven't seen one. Besides, this one's like 115 point something, 0.2. So I think So that's the highest one I've ever seen come out. So
yeah, I think the closest I got to that is maybe like 12.
That was fast.
Wow, what? I didn't even get mine shipped. Maybe because I packaged the shipping with Dusty Dan's pick.
I did as well. So yeah, I did Dusty's. Another Rockstar, and the Found North all together.
Oh, geez, nice.
Now, when you were asking about the mash bill, were you asking about the Starlight or Houdini? Maybe I missed that.
I was asking about the Houdini. Yeah,
Houdini. Okay. Yeah, Jason answered about the Starlight, but I think the Houdini was just 21% rye. Let us know if we're right or wrong there, Jason.
Yeah, I was curious if it had like a higher malt. Like, I just don't know what is giving it that flavor, man. Like, 'cause I haven't had, besides Nashville picks, I haven't had anything. Well, the closest thing I had to tasting like that was that Stranahan's that
American
whiskey
single malt. Yeah, man, that was a freaking hitter, man. Such a good
that
one.
bottle's great. A few high ones, what they're saying.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. It was the most concentrated that they've seen, chosen for the gift shop, but they let us have it. So,
wow, nice.
Jeff was right. Jeff was right too. Houdini is 21% rye.
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay. Oh.
Still crazy though, man. They found just an off-profile one. Don't even try to live up to that one, Jason. That one's a unicorn.
That's a killer bottle.
Dude, I'm waiting on these damn driftless ones. That thing got him out of his seat and everything during stream. I'm like, I need that pick. When is that, Jason? Is that in the works?
Man, you're keeping Jason's fingers busy. So while we're keeping Jason's fingers busy, let's jump into the bracket, show people where we are, how we got here, and how we're going to judge tonight. Because the one thing that's kind of been bugging me, and it bugged me a little bit in the second to last round, though I ended up getting fooled anyway. We're going to know what these are. There's no blinding these two, the 14-year versus the 6-year. So how are we going to get them to compete? Well, we're going to try a new scoring system. We'll see if it works or not. But this will be something for us to experiment with, see if we like it. But let me pull in then the bracket. There we go. So this is how we got here, everybody. We've been at this for a very long time. But the Houdini had to get through ECBP, a Backbone House of Bourbon MGP pick, and another ECBP to get here. So definitely got to crush Heaven Hill multiple times. Other big names that were on that side of the bracket, you can't quite see it there. Here, let's see if I'll turn that banner off. There we go. The Four Roses got kicked out early. My poor New Riff Sherry Rye is out of the competition. The Michter's Rye that we all got from Fort Nelson is out. The Four-Gate 4x4. I mean, that was a huge side of the bracket. So that's everything that Houdini essentially got through to get to this point. Now, the Lucky 7 was actually a high seed, but not a top seed going into this. So it kind of took a path down the bottom of the bracket here. But what it was up against, we got the Wild Turkey 12-year, an Old Kirk single barrel, the Four-Gate Indiana 10, the Bardstown ADHD Boo Rye mix, Nulu Spice Jam, which was actually one of the big surprises of the tournament, I'd say, Calumet 16, and the Four-Gate Kelvin 4. So those were 16 pretty amazing bottles from 2022 that these two bottles just continually stood out among the pack to get here today.
Those bottles are great, man. Every single one of them.
Agreed.
And Nate Cox is rooting for the Lucky 7, while Paul P. and Shayla are rooting for the Houdini. So at the top of this tournament, we let people submit who they thought would be in the Final Four and who they thought would be in the winner. These were our 5 contestants, and somebody's going to win tonight. You know, if it's Lucky 7, it's Nate Cox outright. If it's Shayla and Paul, we'll do a little drawing and figure out how to make it right for both of them here. And then the last thing I want to show.
1 point, Jeff?
Yep, go on, Darrell.
The winning pick, is it 1 point or 2 points?
2 points.
Okay.
So just enough to get past OH, who had 3 of the Final 4.
Dang it.
So here is going to be our scoring system tonight. Each of these are going to be on a 0 to 10 scale. And this is something I've been debating for quite a bit and really drew inspiration from our experience during Blendageddon and just how we would describe our own blends and how we would add to them and what we were looking for to make them stand out. So you got 4 different categories. You got the nose, the front of the palate, mid palate, and the finish. And then you got an overall category that's more about that overall experience, the balance, the construction of it, and then ultimately the value of it too, to put that in perspective. For the nose, you got that flavor side of it. Do you just enjoy it? How much did you enjoy it? But then also the depth. Did it have a lot of flavors? Was it one noted? What was the depth behind that nose? Then when we're talking about the front of the palate, was it giving you any flavor? And how was that mouth feel? How did it coat? Mid palate, once again, the flavor again, but then getting into the complexity. Is it one noted? Is it taking you in multiple directions? And then the finish. Did you enjoy the flavor and how was the length? So essentially we have a, almost like the Olympics where you have a technical score and a performance score. It's like the flavor is the performance, but then you have these technical aspects with the depth, the mouthfeel, the complexity, and the length. Now we haven't put this to the test yet. Today is kind of the first night to do it. So we're going to experiment, but ultimately we're all going to grade these and we're going to average them out and the best score wins. So this is going to come down to a 0 to 100 score once we add all these up. And very interested to hear everyone's feedback on this particular scoring system. This came with a lot of thought that went into it, but may try to change different things depending on how the score feels, how it feels to score these things, putting different whiskeys to the test. All right. Let me turn all the little things back on. And hit that like button. These are my reminders, by the way. The scrolling bar. All right.
Oh, I was off. Sorry about that, dummy.
He
was asking what the proof was.
The proof. I can go through that. Yep, you got back to him there. Yeah, our 2 contenders tonight. By the way, woo-wee, this Lucky 7's going to be killed here. I did a bit too much tournament sampling, and this was part of my blend and Blendageddon, so part of that went away.
I'm going to have to hit up a guy who I think may have a few of those bunkered. I need another one.
I live closer.
That you do.
So the Lucky 7 14 year, this is 136.4 proof. And this was the Justin's House of Bourbon pick in particular. This one was chosen because all 3 of us had it. But man, if I had some other amazing Lucky 7s this year.
Yeah,
then
they're like almost instant buys.
Oh, yeah, especially anything above 130 proof. Instant buy.
Yeah.
And then we got the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club entry. So we got the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club versus Justin's House of Bourbon. I mean, that's a pretty epic matchup in and of itself. But we got the 6-year Nashville Barrel Company MGP 21% rye, as Jason confirmed earlier.
Do you think we have an underdog?
Do we have well, I mean, if I were to pull that, technically, if I'm to pull that thing back up and go back to how we seeded these things, Houdini was always Darrell's number 1, Kelsey's number 1 going in. It was my number 6. So I continually downplay it, and then I continually put it in first or second. While the Lucky 7 was 2-3-3. So it didn't get any first place expectations, but ultimately they had the exact same average.
Yeah.
How about you, Dana?
It's interesting. And they're both wildly different too, which is kind of crazy.
I gotta get Dana a drink. Let's see here. Ooh, that way it won't work. Let's see. Any recommendations in chat for a Dana drink, anybody?
She's a rye person, isn't she?
Typically the ryes, yeah.
Do the Applejack rye. Has she tried the Starlight Applejack?
I haven't opened that one yet.
Oh, okay.
That's a good reason to open it.
It is. I know. I was trying to actually avoid opening all the picks at once.
I'm the wrong person with like steel bottles, man.
What about the?
I'm gonna go with Scott's.
What's that one?
Scott says the Peerless Rye. I'm gonna give it some strawberry.
There you go.
All right. Some
Strawberry
Groove for Dana. Man, we got into this one the other night, and oh man, did that hit a sweet spot for me. We'll see how it does for her.
No, I really like that bottle. It's probably one of my favorite. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite Peerlesses I have. Like, we got a killer rye single barrel from the distillery when we were out there. That was really good. But that's up there.
I actually need to figure out how to do polls, OH. People do those all the time, and I still haven't figured out what button to hit to do that. If that's a StreamYard thing or a YouTube thing, I'll put that on the to-do list. Yes, keep the wife happy.
Maybe upstairs.
That is true, Dunny. Right. Well, let's get into this, guys.
Okay.
So, for me tonight, I've got the Houdini and the Mash and Drum, and I've got the 14-year in the Black Glen here that I hopefully poured enough into, because who knows how much I poured.
I keep losing, like, camera on here. Are you going into one in particular, or?
I'm going back and
I'm going to go through the MBC. I'm going to do the nose first. Let's do noses first. Score them out. And, kind of be prepared to talk about why you gave a score. I'd imagine a 7 is probably going to be an average score with us. So if you say something that's above average or below average, why? What were kind of the instincts there?
These bottles. Yeah.
What?
And I had these sitting for a bit to get some air in there.
Oh man, this is hitting different tonight on the nose for me.
Coming off the Starlight, it's got a different. I just never know. This thing's tasted different to me every single time. So.
Swear, dude. Like, it just tastes. It doesn't taste. It smells completely different than it did last time I smelled it, which is only a week ago.
It's almost muted. The notes for me right now on the nose on this Houdini.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, it doesn't hit me as strong as it did last week.
Oh my god, I'm saying the opposite. I'm like, this thing is leaping out of the glass and it's awesome.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I am loving it right now. Like, I'm getting a chocolate note that I don't even remember. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's not like.
Man.
I wouldn't even know this is Houdini right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have the official score sheet on my side, so I'll make columns for us. Oh man, I'll start us out here. Flavor, I'm giving this thing an 8, and depth, I'm giving this thing a 9. The flavors I love. Right? It doesn't make me do a happy dance like some of the other things that I have, but I love it, and the depth is what gets me. It's different every single time we get into this, and I pull something else out every single time. That's probably the whole inspiration for the name. So I'm giving that one an 8 on flavor and a 9 on depth.
I'm going to go close. I'm going to do a little bit more on the flavor. I'm going to go 8.5 on the nose flavor and then a 9 on the depth. I feel like it's a little bit above average on what the nose offers. but way above average on the depth. It's got a lot there.
God bless you.
I can't tell if Bourbon Before Bacon is outraged by the fact that we gave it too high of a score or the fact that we didn't give it a 10. I'm not sure. What did you say for depth, Kelsey? I'm sorry. I missed
9.
9. I thought you said that.
Yeah.
Didn't write it down. All right. Durrell.
Eight. Jeez. 8 and 8.
8 and 8. So you're lower than us on depth. What's kind of your inspiration there?
It's coming off slightly just muted today. Like the first few times I had this, the nose was just leaping out the glass like yours is doing for you right now. And I don't know if it's just coming off the Starlight, that it's just not hitting me as it did before.
Well, give yourself a little reset there. We'll get into the lucky 7 nose.
See, this one leaps up the glass for me.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I mean, I gravitate towards a nice oak note. So I think that always makes it a hard head-to-head for me.
Yeah, that's why Heaven Hill gets me, man. Like, just that oaky profile, those flavors, vanillas, caramels. Yeah.
And this one's just got the dark fruits to go with it. Honestly, it kind of has that dark fruit note from that Starlight a little bit too. Kind of hitting me in the same way. It's darker than that note, but it kind of lives in that same family, like an octave lower.
I'm having a different experience with this one. I remember getting a lot more ethanol on the nose, like being more pungent, but I don't get that tonight.
Well, we've crushed half the bottle just doing this tournament, so we've really let these things open up.
Yeah, mine's sitting at like a 4th, maybe.
Gosh, it is interesting though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to think through the scoring system more. What do you got, Kelsey?
I got 7.5 on the nose for the flavor.
Okay.
It's a little muted to me, and I have a 7. I don't think that I'm not getting a lot of depth of flavor off of the nose. I'm getting about maybe 3 to 4 notes, where I was getting all kinds of notes on the Houdini to me.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. You know, as much as Durrell said the Houdini felt muted to him tonight, this is kind of coming across to me almost a little muted in ways.
It's the opposite for me.
Man, I do love the flavor, though. That oak, I mean, I could just fall asleep in that oak. But the depth is where it got hit. So I gave it a 9 on flavor, but a 7 on depth. Really love what's there, but there's not too much to pick apart.
I still
I'm 99.
Ooh, 9 and 9.
Candied runts, like the runts, if anybody remembers runts growing up, the little flavor, like they had banana and orange and whatever else. That 14-year reminds me a lot of that. I know that's just the Barton coming out of the profile.
You could probably run through the whole handful of those flavors that come in those runts, though. The grapes, the cherry or the apple, the red one.
Yeah.
The orange.
It just reminds me of like that real sugary but sweet. Although I will say I had some 1792 small batch last night, and the profile on this is way different. Even though it's the same juice, I know it's a lot older, but.
What is do you know the age on the full proof that they do? 1792 full proof? I know it's not
I
8
don't.
figures, but
I have some picks that I know are 8 because they have the barrel date, so I know they're like around 8 years, but I've never seen any higher than that. But I don't know what the
Gotcha.
non-store pick single barrels are, or what the range of them could be. I'd imagine 6
I
to
would-
8 years though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say 5 to 6 years. But
All right. Good
Yeah.
evening, James from the UK.
oh,
Highlights.
jeez.
The whole every minute's a highlight. Come on, man. I can't pick a favorite minute. It was all great.
Man, yeah, that
want to
nose
go
is-
through onto the palate, the flavor of the palate, the front palate.
Yeah, let's go front
Yeah.
palate first. So take a sip, get yourself acclimated, and then think about it, but don't put any scores down. And then on your second sip, start breaking down the front of the palate.
Wow.
Mm.
Mm.
The palate on this is, it shines on nose too. Not on nose today for me, but the palate on this is just absolutely ridiculous.
Man, I think I'm digging it more tonight than any other night.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is freaking. I always talk about it too, but like when Jason was there, man, he talked about this pick. He's like, try it. And I'm like, not really brushing it off. I'm like, well, it's probably good because they've been picking some good stuff, but dude, oh my God. Ugh.
All right. Well, I got my scores for the front palate. We're doing flavor and we're doing mouthfeel.
Dude, this is, oh man.
So I'm gonna go 9 on the flavor. I mean, it's really, really like fruit, like punchy, and then 8.5 on the mouthfeel. I feel like it coats well, but it's not like a. It's more of an explosion and then back off rather than a consistent, just covering your palate. You know.
I gave it an 8 on flavor, but I gave it a 9 on mouthfeel. I thought it was doing everything I wanted there. I mean, it just coats just everything instantaneously for me, and I think the proof is at such a nice point that I could just let it sit there and migrate
Agreed.
just all around and just enjoy it.
Agreed.
I'm at 9.5 and 9.
All right, 9.5 and 9.
Yeah, just
Right.
the palate on, like, it hits every aspect of the tongue. Front, mid, back. It's like the same flavors the whole time. You know, then mouthfeel, it coats. It's viscous to an extent, but it just sits there. You know, and it's not a super high proof like you were saying. You can kind of just have it sit on your tongue and just keep getting those flavors, man. But it just sits there. And I'm still, even after water, I'm still tasting some of the flavor in there. You know, it's killer. Killer.
So what's
And the
your
reason why I'm
favorite
putting these
flavor?
up on that, it's just the fruit, man. Like I'm a fruit junkie when it comes to bourbon, and it's just so plum, blackberry, blueberry, so like all those dark fruits are what I get on this, and it just hits me though. It's my jam, literally like jam.
Ryan.
Freaking,
Yeah, I would say it's similar. I would say that the Houdini is much richer in flavor and a lot more of it, but it does kind of fall off a little bit for me, rather than staying with those consistent flavors all the way through. It kind of hits me, not necessarily even on the front part of it, but even more of which we're going to scale next, which is the mid palate. It really sustains more on the mid palate and then kind of falls off towards the finish a little bit. But the Rockstar to me like falls off a little bit sooner. This has a little bit more viscosity to it. than the Rockstar does. Obviously, it's a little bit older, but to me, it's a little bit more viscous too.
So what do you guys think? Should we go straight through since we're already kind of wrapped up in the Houdini, or go back and forth?
I think we probably go through because it may, like, we go with that 136. It may kind of mess with this a bit.
Yeah.
All right, mid palate.
I kind of did my mid palate and front and all that. It all hit me the same, but my numbers are slightly different, but not by much. Or actually, I may be able to get by with just this.
My mid palates are a little bit different. Like I said, I think it hits more in the mid palate for me than the front. So I'm giving 9.5 on the mid palate and a 9 on the mouthfeel. Like I feel more of it coating the mid part of my palate than the front per se, and that those flavors are more concentrated on that part of my palate. So
I agree with that. I gave it an 8 up front. I'm giving it a 9 on flavor at the mid palate and a 9 on complexity. I mean, once again, just all of that sweetness, all the berries, it just gives you everything that it promises on the nose and on the front of the palate too. Just escalates.
Yep.
You did. What did you have for flavor and complexity?
9 and 9.
9 and 9. Did you get mine? Oh no, I don't think so.
Not yet.
No. All right, I'm at 9 and 8.5.
Man, we're gonna be splitting hairs on these, but kind of knew that was gonna happen too. That's kind of the reason to do this many categories as well.
Yeah, it's tough with the complexity because it's different, but I don't. Actually, I don't know. Like, I can probably say it's more complex than some of the other ones because of just the different notes that you get on a non-finished bourbon, but it just doesn't come across as super complex to me. Like, it's definitely above average if we're looking at like 7 being the average. But they could be more.
See, I just feel like you could plant any note in my head, and I would probably taste it. You're like, this thing tastes like cantaloupe. I'd be like, it does taste like cantaloupe.
Yeah, that is, the more you sip this thing, though, the more that builds on itself. Like, right? Like, all of the flavors start to build and build and build and build and build. By the time I'm finished tasting this for the finished flavor and complexity, it just has gradually built up to me. Like, the experience itself has continued to get better the more I drink. So.
All right.
So
running a little behind, so.
Then, Kelsey?
I'm thinking 9 and 9 on
9
flavor and complexity for the finish. Like, I feel like it continues to build. Whereas the first time, whenever I was thinking about the front palate, like, the finish kind of fell off for me. But the more that you drink it, the more it kind of builds upon your palate.
Man. How about you, Darrell, on the finish?
I'm at 9.5 for flavor, because this thing just, it hits you with every note in the damn book.
Yeah, and it just doesn't stop.
Besides, it's not like the super chocolatey vanilla that you get on most bourbons, right? You don't get that oaky chocolatey vanilla, but you're getting everything else. Every fruit Ferrari bottle looks full. No, it's because I sold like half my life for this second bottle. The other one was long gone. My first one was long gone.
Sold
I did sell my soul. I had suede and do this and do that. Oh man.
What'd you give it on both scores in the finish? You said 9.5. What was your second score?
So length. I'm gonna go 9 for length.
Okay. All right.
I know that.
So let's-
Lucky 7's going to get 10.
And the overall balance and construction of the thing, and then the value, the experience versus the price.
What's this
This was
bottle?
$100 price tag.
80. Oh God, jeez.
I am 9s on both of these as well, just to lay it out.
I'm 9 and 9.5. I think it's a really great value for what you're getting. Or even though I know people are going to say, well, it's only a 6-year-old whiskey, but dude, it doesn't drink like a fucking 6-year-old whiskey. No.
Take the age statement off. This thing could be non-age stated, and it's gonna freaking rock my world regardless. I don't really get into age like that. Like, age does help sometimes, but you got some stuff that's 4-year, 5-year that are absolutely banger bottles. And people shy away from it. Oh, it's 4 years.
Yeah.
No, dude, age does help, but you can have some young bottles that are absolutely fantastic.
Agreed.
Thus our competition here, where we got a 6-year versus a 14-year.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's going to win. So what are your
geez.
scores, Darrell?
I'm 9.5 for balance, dude, and for value. This is a 10 for me, man. It's not much that really beats the value of this. $100 bottle. Granted, take the age stated out of there, but in terms of the experience that you get with this bottle, there's not much that can really beat it. Well, there's stuff that can beat it, but there'll be 10s too. But for me, this is a 10, man. At $100, I would buy I would buy the barrel. Literally. It's that good.
Well, those are the scores for the Nashville. We'll do the totals here. I don't want to bias anything, but we got to run through the Lucky 7. Not to undercut the Lucky 7, but we got to be a little more fast on the pace. But I think we got the format now.
Okay.
So, cheers, everybody! Thank you for joining us tonight. And then, because of where we are right now, we got 13 minutes left. We did say we had a surprise, and it was something for everybody else to join along in. So, before I get into my Lucky 7, you guys do your scoring and go into the Lucky 7. But
Okay.
I'm going to jump into the little surprise here. But we finally revamped it. We got the whiskey wheel. And I had the brilliant idea 8 minutes before we went live to do a whiskey wheel camera. Oh. So, if you want to play along, if you want to get a pour, if your glass is empty, hey, let's see what your next pour is. That's the whole point of the whiskey wheel. And then we'll honor whatever the whiskey wheel says, after this, once it's done.
Oh, so I'm nosing this we haven't gave the notes already, so I just gotta jump straight in the palate.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. So if your glass is empty, pour a finished whiskey for us here. And then we'll incorporate Mr. Wheel here. More we go. Especially now that I figured out how to do a second camera. Ooh, look at me. We were actually joking that I got
Let us know what you're
cousin It over here if I want to not try to move, and then I just got the camera going.
Let us know what you're pouring too if you are doing something finished.
Yeah,
See what
please
you're
let us know
drinking.
what you're pouring. That'd be awesome.
If you're following along, let us know what finished whiskey you're pouring here.
Jesus.
Finish is right up my
This is
alley.
gonna be freaking close, guys. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna fold my sheet of paper so I don't know what I put for Houdini. So I don't want to influence my decision on anything.
Yeah, I did that too.
Oh
I
shit!
tucked
I
it
gotta know
underneath.
what. Well, you'll read through what each thing is, right? Because I can't see. I wrote down nose, this, that. Just let me know what I'm putting so I can put the scores. We already gave the first two, so everything after that.
Yeah, so front of the palate, flavor, mouthfeel. Oh my god.
Okay. Holy cow.
Actually, shit. All right, I won't
Talk
do
about
that,
freaking finish on the freaking bourbon. Holy cow, man. This one, I can't swallow enough to, get the finish to go away. It just keeps pounding my palate.
So good.
Jeff, I've got mine if you want to write it down.
Yeah, where are you at front of the palate?
8.5. And then mouthfeel, I put in 9. Mid palate is a 9. The mouthfeel mid palate is a 9. The finish
flavor, the flavor complexity mid palate
is a 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah, and then the mouthfeel is a 9 on mid palate. I think where this really shines is in the finish. So I put it at a 9.5 and a 9.5 on the finish. And then on the overall, I feel like it's an 8.5 and then a 9 on the overall value, just because of the cost difference. But I still think for the age statement and the complexity of the whiskey for the price is still a really good value. So,
yeah, and this one was, make sure I'm right here, 160, guys, or 140? I think it was 160.
I think it was 149.
149 is what I remember.
149, so right in
Plus
the middle,
tax.
yeah, with tax, 160. I'm kind of right. So I'm right there with you front of the palate. I gave it a 9 and a 9. I mean, it is immediately flavorful, and I think the thing, if it does beat Houdini at the end, I do think it'll be the oak. I think the age is going to be the thing that it's going to separate it, but we'll see. How about you, Darrell?
This is good. I was going through all of them. So we're on my what? Front palate?
Front palate flavor. What you got?
I got. Oh wait, sorry. I didn't write it all down. So is it the third and fourth question?
Yes, correct. Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Flavor and
Yeah,
mouthfeel,
9.5.
front of the palate.
Yeah, I got front. I wrote down front palate and front palate mouthfeel. I got 9 and 9.5.
Okay.
Jeez, dude, I'm looking at my rankings already, and like, I know for me which one. Holy crap!
Well, if we were reviewing these individually, they would both be really high scores, though. So it does make sense that it's going to be this tight. So then mid palate, Kelsey gave it a 9 and a 9. Man, flavor wise, mid palate, I'm going 9.5. I mean, this one just rocks me out of my socks.
Yeah,
It's strong.
Dude,
Dude. It's a hammer when it comes down too, man. It's just like wham.
Oh man. I mean, I talked about that
9.5.
happy dance earlier, and I'm just like, every time I take a sip, like, oh, happy place.
This is so much spicier. Like I don't even like almost peppery spicy. Like I don't even know how to describe it on my palate. Like it's almost Pop Rocks type of feel. Like it's different.
Especially on the finish right now. You know, it's been a while since I took a sip, but I have that Pop Rock experience, just like you're describing. And it's going mid palate, even to the finish. Like it just continually goes through it.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
Darrell,
9.5,
mid palate for you.
9.5 for me.
9.5 and 9.5.
Yeah, just going through chat, looking at what everybody's drinking. I see some BRT, Midwinters, Sagamore Sherry, which is fantastic. It's strong. We have in here.
Eric's cough syrup was finished with cherry barrels. That's where that medicinal cherry note comes from. It's when people are finishing it in these dang medicine barrels.
Oh jeez.
God, this bottle's so good.
You interpret the wheel however you need to, Todd.
I'll put my blend to get him blend.
Keep
Wait, what did he say?
Socks on. How do you even know I'm wearing socks right now, man? That's what influences all the smells in this room. You know, I got to go with the natural scent of everything. That's why Dana only shows her hand and then runs away.
This guy's funny. Oh man! All right, so where are we at? We're on finished and flavor, like finished flavor and
yeah,
lemon, right?
finished flavor and complete. Yeah, yep.
So I put all my scores already. So
Okay.
You know,
go ahead.
the finish. What do you got? What do you got, Darrell? You go first.
I got 9.5 and 10.
Wow.
Oof, man, you are really feeling this thing tonight.
Dude, the length of the finish is like it doesn't end. Like
Exactly.
how can it not be?
Exactly.
I
It feels
can't see how
like
it can't be
it feels like Jason picked this barrel. It really does. 'Cause he's all about the finish, man. Like he would love this.
like I'm trying to think what I really have here that has a longer finish. You know, like there's some hazmat stuff that doesn't even do like it just sits and sits and sits. Like for me to really think, if I got to struggle to think of a bottle that has a longer finish in this, then that's a 10 for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Rank
So-
Y.
It's finished in what, fluoride? I guess I don't know. So I'm doing you know, this is actually where I knock it a little bit.
Okay.
The finish for me is coming off. I think it's because the oak is coming off a little too astringent, and it's dominating like a little too much, taking away some of the depth of that. But then I can't take away from the length of it. The length keeps going on, and that pepper note keeps going on. The pop rocks thing. So I'm giving it an 8.5 on the flavor, but still giving it a 9 on the length.
Have you had something that gave you a stronger finish in terms of length? Because I'm curious why it's not a 10.
It's a good question, Darrell. It's a fair question. I think that's the thing that we'll have to feel through to get calibrated on the scoring system. Try to find
Well,
the
I would
extremes.
say like the ones that
But I'm sticking with my gut feel.
The ones I'm thinking of are not bourbons. Like I have some light whiskey. I have some light whiskey that has a longer finish than this. It's like that. It's not effervescent like this, where it kind of gives you that rock candy like pop rocks, but
Well, bourbon wise though, you know what I mean.
but bourbon wise, no, I haven't. I can't think of a bottle that I've tasted, not let alone own, that has that type of a finish to it.
So the balance of this thing, I'm going 9.5. And then the value of this, yeah, I'm going 9 as well, just like Kelsey. I think if you can get this for MSRP, I think this is probably the best hitter bottle that is still obtainable on the market today. I mean, I think it's as simple as that.
Agreed.
I went 9 and 9, Jeff.
9 and 9?
9 on construction, 9 on value, because it's just a little bit above what most people obviously want to spend. Like it's an absolutely fantastic bottle, you know, but value is subjective to some, you know, so being that it's $150, it may not be for some, you know, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
No, gotcha.
While I'm doing this, you know, getting low on time, do your totals for me real quick if you can, just to double check my math.
Yeah, I gotcha. Let me score it.
Richie Z, I'm not sure which glass you're talking about. Whiskey. I don't have one of those. The newest one that I got is this little guy, which is kind of fun. It's a little bit smaller than a Glen. And then I have the two glass like Jeff and Darrell have, but I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
Man, you know, I wasn't anticipating you guys using the 0.5s going into this. It's really messing with me.
You're gonna have to do a calculator.
No. I think I might
I'm
use
using
the
it.
Use your
the
phone.
brevity
Use
of
your
this
phone.
thing.
I just use my phone. I'm good. I got mine, and it was close. It was close.
All right, what's your total, Darrell?
I got 90 for Houdini and 93 for Lucky 7.
Oh man, you know, if Lucky 7 wins, it's gonna be your fault.
Dude, my lowest number on Lucky 7 was a 9. I got a couple 8s on Houdini.
All right, Kelsey, what do you have for your total?
Oh shit! I didn't do it. Hold on.
Oh, shoot.
Give me a second. I was planning on you doing it. I'm doing
I
it
just
right now.
asked you
Give
to
me a
double
second.
check me, which really meant you do it. Yeah, definitely double check me on that one.
Oh wait, man, you guys talked about that bottle a lot, man. I gotta try that one. Barrel 55, Lucky 7. Jeff, I think you have that one.
So we're right on the verge of calculating these total scores, everybody. So we're getting close to the winner. Will it be the Mash and Journey, or will it be Justin's House of Bourbon with their picks?
What do you have for mine on your
86.5?
Yep, that's right.
All right.
And I'm
All
doing
right.
the other one right now.
Whew. You do the other one and confirm me. I got that done. Let's go through the scores of the Lucky 7. I gave the Lucky 7 an 88.5. Kelsey gave it an 86.5. Darrell gave it a 93.
Great, jeez, I'm the outlier.
Now, what differentiated us is that Kelsey and I were not digging the nose, whereas Darrell was all in. So that's the difference in the scores. And that gives us a average of 89.33 repeated infinity there. All right.
89.33 for Lucky 7.
89.3 is the score to beat here. Oh,
Oh,
man,
man.
if I got my math
It's gonna
right
be
on
close,
this,
dude.
you gotta be kidding me. All right.
It's gonna be close.
Darrell, what was your score on Houdini? Just to confirm,
90
confirm it
even.
for me. 90 even.
90.
Kelsey, Houdini.
You mean the other one?
Yeah.
I already told you what the Houdini was.
What's the
It
Houdini?
was I thought it was 86.5 or what it was. What did you just tell me?
No, that was the lucky 7.
Oh shit! Oh, I did the wrong one.
Oh shit! Make sure you did the wrong one.
All right.
I told you I'm really bad with numbers.
I gave the Houdini an 88. So for the record, I gave Houdini an 88, and I gave the Lucky 7 an 88.5. Darrell gave the Houdini a 90 and gave the Lucky 7 a 93.
Oh shit!
Gave the Lucky 7 an 86.5.
Oh god, it's Houdini.
And gave the Houdini a...
I don't know, dude. I can't even fucking do
All right, I have Kelsey down as a 90.
Okay.
Dude, it's like Houdini by like point something. What is this?
I think that's right, Darrell. I think it's literally Houdini by...
It's just under 90, isn't it?
They just tied. They freaking tied.
No way. No
Are
way.
you kidding me?
They tied. We did all of that. We came up with 10 categories, and the dang things tied.
What?
This is no Highlander. There will not be one. There is 2 champions. Oh, gosh, guys. I did everything I could.
Oh, spin the fucking wheel. That's what we need to spin the wheel again.
89.3 for that as well.
Recount
is like-
rigged. How does that happen? All right,
That's
well,
silly.
there can't be only one. That means we got 3 winners of the bracket then. Like, I don't know what to do. They all get 2 points. We don't have a
That's
tiebreaker.
pretty silly.
They're just 2 amazing bottles, and we invented a scoring system, and they still came out like them. Ah,
Yeah.
all right. Wow, everybody, that's interesting. Hopefully that's not a letdown, and hopefully that's exciting. They're just amazing bottles. And they got there in totally different ways. Darrell's love for Lucky 7, though, tonight was the differentiator.
Oh, I tell you what,
That
man.
93.
He was digging that.
Ah. So, everybody, we'll give you one more spin of the wheel and then send you over to Jason's. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Let's go, Whiskey Wheel.
Wheel of death. Wheel of death.
Ooh,
Let's
Paul P
see.
thinks I got my math wrong. I'll double check, Paul. Ask
What does
chat.
that say?
Ask
Okay.
chat. First person in chat to say something is the thing to drink.
Is what we're drinking.
What's it gonna
Nice,
be?
Scott.
What's it going to be?
I know
Oh,
either
man.
Henson or Hendo or somebody's got to say something.
Dude, how do we?
I'm not drinking the Malort. I'll drink
Or
some.
game.
I gotta rethink this.
Oh, Malort. I don't have Malort, so we're skipping that. We're going to 4
man.
games.
Cigar blend to end the night. Woo-wee. Look at that from
Wait,
08.
did I miss?
The first person.
Scott had 4 games before that.
4 gate.
Oh, you
Oh,
did?
Scott
Okay.
with 4 gate. Ooh, Obtainium
There you
before
go.
that. Oh, I missed it all. Obtainium popped up
Obtainium.
from JG.
Obtainium was
What
the
am I
first
talking
one.
about?
Where do you
All
see Obtainium?
We got JG at 9:05 here.
I don't even
My
have
order
that
might be
on.
different than everybody else's. I heard StreamYard.
No, Obtainium's right. Obtainium's
All
right.
right. We will pour an
All right.
Obtainium.
Me,
You pour
me.
one as a nightcap, everybody, but get out of here. Go over to
Grab
Jason
a
at the Mashing
Glen.
Drum. He's talking to a guy from Bardstown tonight. That should be an interesting interview. But thank you so much for
Absolutely.
joining us on this whiskey tournament. Apparently, I got to redo some math just to make sure it actually is a tie because that was improbable. We got some Shady going on here. Shady's back.
Waka waka. My
All
name
right,
is.
why don't we sign off? Kelsey, you kick us off.
All right, cheers, guys. You can find me at Kelsey Dime on Facebook and Instagram. Come check us out next week as well. We look forward to hanging out with you after the Christmas holiday. And Rel is gone, but here he is.
Nope, I'm here.
Here he is. Rel, sign off, buddy.
Now, just a caveat on that. Yeah, thank you guys for just hanging out with us, man. We got some exciting stuff coming up. We got some fun things. I don't want to get into it too much, but got some special guests coming on, some more blinds, just some good times coming. So hang with us and just keep it rolling.
And I will be putting another dent into this guy. Man, I've loved this barrel this year. This has been so good. Once I get my Shady back, though, I'm going to be excited about that one. So I'll do a nightcap with that one. Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. Jeezy, Pete. 5 days till Christmas, 4 days till Christmas. Man, thanks for hanging with us tonight for another Whiskey Wednesday. And we will see you again next week.
Cheers, everybody.
Guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.